If you could have the choice between having relative pitch or having perfect pitch, which one would you choose? Obviously, you'd want perfect pitch, right? Wrong. These two are totally separate things, okay? Today, we're going to talk about why relative pitch and perfect pitch are totally different and dispel a myth that gets perpetuated all across the internet. So let's dive right in. Lately, whenever I've been watching shorts on YouTube or reels on Facebook or something like that, I see these awesome videos of these little kids who are like 5 or 6 years old that are what we call prodigies. They pick it up, they're doing incredible things, and a lot of them have developed what we call perfect pitch. And I saw one where one kid was talking about, I used to have relative pitch, but now I have perfect pitch. And this is a kind of thing that I see all over the place, and it is wrong. Relative pitch is not a lesser form of perfect pitch. Perfect pitch and relative pitch are actually totally separate things. And anybody can develop them. Well, at least most people can develop them. Obviously, if you're deaf or you have severe hearing loss, that's going to be a lot harder to develop. But over time, as you're playing guitar and you're playing a lot of music, you're going to develop your perfect pitch and your relative pitch. So let's talk about what those are. First of all, perfect pitch. What the heck is perfect pitch? Perfect pitch means whenever you hear a note or a series of notes, you know what those notes are called. For example, if I hear an A note, I can know that's an A. Or if I hear a G note, that's a G. Or if I hear an F sharp, that's an F sharp, right? You can identify what any pitch is just by hearing it. Much like when the majority of people, sorry colorblind folks, but when the majority of people look at a rainbow, they can identify red, blue, purple, yellow, orange, right? All that fun stuff. People with a highly developed sense of perfect pitch hear notes the way that a lot of people will see colors. They can identify individual notes by their actual sound. I think that's incredible. I don't have a great developed perfect pitch. I can't sit there and go, oh, that's an F sharp right there, right? Every once in a while, I can remember a pitch and identify it, but my sense of perfect pitch is not to that point. I cannot just identify notes just by hearing them. Some people do develop that, though. It is possible. So what the heck is relative pitch then? Well, perfect pitch is identifying pitches by ear, okay? Relative pitch has nothing to do with identifying pitches themselves. Relative pitch has to do with relationships. We should call it relative pitch because it has to do with the relationships between notes. Now, here's where relative pitch is different. Relative pitch will have you go like this. That's a major chord. That's a minor chord. That's a dominant 7 chord. That's a minor 7 chord. Relative pitch has more to do with identifying what are the relationships between the notes that you're hearing and how do they work together, okay? Now, somebody with perfect pitch would hear this A major chord and be able to go, oh, you're playing A, C sharp, and E. Those are the 3 notes that are being played. And then on top of that, they could probably tell you the order that they're being played in. So if you have great relative pitch, you're going to be able to know it's a major chord. But if you have great perfect pitch as well, you're going to be able to go, oh, that's an A major chord just by hearing it. The same thing with any kind of intervals. Someone with great relative pitch is going to hear like this and go, oh, that's a major 3rd. Or they'll go, oh, that's a 6th. That's a perfect 4th, right? They'll be able to hear the different intervals, the relationships between the notes, and identify those relationships and how those notes work together. So which one should you develop? Which one should you be more focused on working on? Well, since perfect pitch and relative pitch are 2 separate things, what is probably, in my opinion, the more useful one is developing your relative pitch, being able to hear the different relationships between notes, being able to identify relationships between notes, and as you're playing tons of songs and you're improvising and you're jamming, over time, you're going to be developing that. That is just given, you're going to. If you want to put a little bit more focus into it, you can also work on developing your perfect pitch, your ability to identify pitches by ear. Okay, both of those can be worked on. I would say if you're going to focus on one, focus more on developing your relative pitch, identifying the relationships between notes, and then work on developing your sense of perfect pitch. Okay, just because being able to hear and understand the relationships between notes is really, really going to be useful for you. Really useful. But I hope that clears things up for you so that you understand that perfect pitch and relative pitch are not two levels of the same skill. It's not like you have relative pitch and then you graduate to having perfect pitch. Your perfect pitch is identifying individual notes by ear. Your sense of relative pitch is identifying the relationships between those different notes and being able to understand that. So as you play guitar, as you work on music, you're going to be developing both of those. But if you want to focus on one, start with developing your relative pitch and then work on working on more perfect pitch. So I hope that answers that question for you. If you found this video useful, I hope you did, then I have another gift for you. Go to my website at simpleguitar.com/top 10, and there you can download my free guide, the top 10 things to learn on guitar first. And that guide is going to give you 10 things that's going to give you a lot of bang for your buck and get you playing guitar and playing more music right off the bat and having a ton of fun. So go to simpleguitar.com/top 10, get that, and I will catch you in this next video.